Hi, everyone. It's Peter Kraut of Silver Advisor with another episode of the Pay Dirt podcast, where we interview management of companies that we recommend, but also personally own, track, and report on. And today, I am with David Wolfin, President and CEO of Avino, and Nathan Harte, who is CFO at Avino. David and Nathan, thanks again for speaking with us today about this blowout first quarter at Avino. Pretty exciting times. I'm going to we'll start with you, David. Maybe you. What I'd like is if you can walk us through the highlights of this inaugural proven and probable mineral resource estimate.
Sure. We qualified under 43-101 to put out reserves. This is internally. Otherwise, you need a feasibility study, and that was done in the 60s. So it's been a long time since then. But we put out 127 million ounces of silver equivalent in the proven and probable category. 300 million in the measured and indicated, so a good healthy amount. If you look at the tonnage, it's about 92 million tons, and our processing plant can do 750,000 tons. So it represents in a gross value 123 years of mine life. And so our plan right now is to look at how do we expand and shrink that timeline.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, that's quite the resource for a company of your size. It must look quite enviable, I would think, to some of your peers. Just saying. Um, David, how does this updated reserve estimate support your long-term sort of transformational growth strategy? How would you see that?
Well, it adds confidence and credibility to what we're doing. We have an independent engineering firm working on trade-off studies right now, so we're looking at we have many options, and so we're trying to decipher what's the best that's going to create the most value for our shareholders. So that's one of the things that people should wait for to hear later this year as to us upgrading our expansion plans.
Super. We're going to switch gears a little bit. Nathan, this first one's for you. You're the numbers and money guy. Tell me, Avino reported quarterly revenues of 39.4 million in Q1. What were the main things, the main factors that drove such a really strong financial result?
Yeah, it was obviously a blowout quarter for us. And lots of hard work, kind of a culmination over the last number of months and years that our teams put in at site. To see the fruits of their labor and everyone's labor here, it's fantastic to see. So obviously silver price was a big one. I think we had 60% of our revenue coming from silver production. So our goal is to, primary silver producer and revenue generator. So it was nice to see that continue. 'Cause I think in the first quarter or the fourth quarter, we jumped back over 50% in silver. So, obviously our long-term target is 70% and plus higher, of pure silver. So it was nice to be able to see the impact of this price boom in Q1. And it was nice to outperform the average, actually on realized silver prices. We did pretty well on that side. We were over $86 an ounce, which I think is well above the average, and then outperformed some of our peers. So it was nice to see it all come together.
I'm curious about that. Why was it that your realized price was so much higher than your peer average?
A little bit was timing. So I can't argue that we got a little bit lucky. We had a pretty high month in January when just the way things worked out, some good grades, and then we have a couple mechanisms in our contracts where we can lock in prices on spikes, and allows us for some flexibility. Not hedging or anything like that. This is kind of just month to month. But yeah, we took advantage in obviously January when it did jump up. And then yeah, we like the leverage to silver, so it's kind of one of the things we can use as a one-off. But yeah, we're excited to see how that worked out for us.
Well, yeah, that was definitely a great tactical move. And with this record cash this quarter, how do you balance, growing investments, exploration, maintaining financial discipline? These are all the balls you have to juggle at the same time.
Yeah, it's interesting. Avino is what we're a producer, a developer, explorer. We're in all sorts of buckets. So it is a decent amount to manage and making sure, we keep that balance sheet intact. We just got this cash. We don't really want to, throw it away, right? So we're just being disciplined with how we deploy that capital. As David mentioned, we are doing a lot of trade-off study work to determine the best use of those funds. And in the meantime, getting some return on that capital and short-term investments and things like that. But obviously, we put some money back in for exploration this year. We're doing about 30,000 meters, so we are looking to reinvest in the mining operations. And obviously, long term, I think shareholders want us to reinvest in the mine. As David mentioned, we've got over 100 years of, call it mine life, whatever you want to call it for now. But we know we need to add some processing capacity and look at being able to expand our underground operations.
Makes sense. I'm gonna switch back to you, David.
Yeah.
Sort of the last main question I've got is, the company really is continues to position itself as a Mexico-focused mid-tier primary silver producer, which is not that easy to find these days. What are some of the main the sort of key milestones that investors should watch for the next 12 months?
Key milestones are exploration results. So we have 4 drills turning, 2 at La Preciosa, 2 at Avino, and a 5th one on the way. So lots of drilling going on, increasing production at La Preciosa. We're developing as fast as we can. We've got the best, latest, and brand new equipment, and want to get up to 500 tons per day. And those are the key things. What else? I mean, new expansion plans. I can't promise you when we'll disclose that information, but we're working on trade-off studies with an independent engineering firm. Those are the 3 key things that we're working on this year.
Super. So definitely lots to watch for. Some exciting times. Silver has just pulled back. I think that, it's my view, but I think that has created sort of a near-term opportunity once again for anyone who's looking at this space closely. You couple that with news that in April, the U.S. hit 3.8% inflation, which is the highest it's been in like 19. Sorry, that's the highest since 2003. But
Yeah,
the 30-year bond, I think, is at 19-year highs. So people are worried about inflation.
of course.
Precious metals should do very well in this kind of environment, and miners are making record profits. So you're in a very sweet spot, which I have a feeling will last for some time.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
think so
Thank
too.
you.
Well, David, Nathan, thanks so much. This was a great catch up on Avino's recent results and outlook. We'll watch for ongoing news, and let's catch up again soon.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.